So this is a 2008 Nissan Versa, and we've got some AC problems with it. So we'll take a look at the symptoms and see if we can do some troubleshooting and see if we can fix this thing. So the symptoms here are that everything appears to work in here. The AC light will come on when you press the button. It'll go off when you press the button. Everything seems to adjust properly here, but a lot of these are mechanical. And it's intermittent. Very rarely, but sometimes it will come on if you leave the AC button on. Sometimes when you're driving along, especially at night, it'll just cycle on, and it's cooler at night. So it doesn't often do that during the day when it's warmer. So it's a little bit temperature dependent there, and temperature affects pressures. So, we'll take that into account in our troubleshooting. But it does work. So we know the compressor works, we know all the relays work, and we know all the fuses work, because this does work intermittently. So there's no fancy, real high-tech digital stuff in here. It's, basically just, these switches and everything in this button, and it's controlled through relays and fuses like it would a normal car. The fuses are like mini fuses that are, I believe, don't correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe they're under the hood in the what's called the IPDM, and they're not really replaceable. They're like on the board, and so the fuses you can check and replace, but we know all that stuff is good because it does work once in a long while. And, we know the clutch is good. We know the compressor is good. We know the system itself works. We know the pressures are good. Everything's good enough to make it work, but it's working intermittently. So we need to take all that into account in our troubleshooting and maybe save some time as we dig into this on looking at those individual parts. And I have tested this, and I know that it comes on intermittently. I've been driving it a little bit just to see, and I have got it to come on once or twice briefly, but then it goes off again before too long. It doesn't stay on very long, unfortunately. So the way the system works is it's just got that control head unit in there. Runs through the standard fuses and relays. It's got one wire to the compressor for power. The clutch itself is grounded. Standard system, R134A. It has a trinary switch to monitor pressures. And that is primarily what I'm looking at here as a possibility, because what we're looking at intermittent seems to be pressure, temperature dependent. A pressure switch like that can have intermittent function. And when it's a trinary switch that controls the whole system, when that fails, you can lose a lot of things. But the trinary switch controls the fan as well. So it monitors low pressure, it monitors high pressure, and it turns the fan on and off. In this case, this particular switch is a 3-pin switch from my research, from what I've determined. And so this one, the only proper way to test it, one of these trinary switches, is with an oscilloscope, so you can see the actual waveform and what it's putting out, because it outputs a variable signal that the computer interprets. I think it's the body control module. So there is that interpretation factor. So we've got the body control module, and we've got that pressure switch basically deciding what to do with this system. So it could be one of those. I don't have the high-tech stuff necessary to diagnose the BCM, body control module, unfortunately. But an intermittent problem usually isn't the BCM. So I'm leaning toward the pressure switch. So I think the most economical way to handle this is to basically pull the system down and change that switch, because the switch is like, I don't know, $40 for a good high quality one. And replace that switch, and then put the system back together and see if that fixes it. We don't lose much, but our time and the cost for the switch if we're wrong. And if we are wrong, then it has a new switch in it, and this is a 2008, so that's probably the original switch in there. And trinary switches in recent history they don't have a great reputation. They're more complicated than just a regular off-on pressure switch, you know, and there's a lot more to go wrong with them. So that is my primary suspect at this point. If it turns out that that's not the case and we have to dig into the BCM, I don't know. That may be something that a dealer will have to do. I don't think I have the capability to do it, but I don't know. We're going to see. So we know what the problem is, we know what the symptoms are, and we have a pretty good idea about the cheapest way to go about fixing this here, based off of basically an educated diagnosis. I don't like to take guesses with these things, but on a switch like this, I don't have a good, cheap way to test the trinary switch. You know, I did briefly when I first got it. I put power to the compressor clutch, and the clutch engages. That was before I got it to work intermittently, and so I knew the clutch was good right out of the gate. But once it engaged intermittently while it was operating on its own, I knew that the relays and fuses and everything were okay, and I didn't have to go back and check them. So that saved us a little diagnosis time on that end of it. So trinary switch or BCM, wherever that's located. I'm pointing up there, but I don't know where it is. But the trinary switch is like right down here in the front. So I'm going to order that, and we'll vac this down and replace the switch, and then charge it up again and see where we're at. Okay, so the trinary switch is right down there. That's what this wire goes to. So I don't think that'll be too bad. I think I can get a socket on an extension down there fairly easily. I have a new one. Oh, this is what it looks like. I cover the plastic connector, fortunately. So the plastic connector is not wider than the actual frame, so should be able to get a socket down around the plastic connector, which is sometimes an issue. So that should not be a problem. All right, let's see if we can get that out. Well, I got to vac the system down first, then we'll see if we can get that out. All right, so I believe I have the right combination here to remove this, so I'll just be very gentle. It's aluminum, so let's see if we can break it free without damaging anything. Oh yeah, that wasn't bad. Okay. Nope, I dropped it down onto the... Got it. Okay, there is our sensor. The O-ring didn't come out. I gotta reach down and snag that out. Okay. O-ring, very flat as expected. All right. Now the new one already has the new O-ring on there. Just gently get her started. Make sure not to cross thread anything. Okay. Now this is an O-ring, so you don't want to over tighten. You don't want to under tighten either. Okay. That's my ratchet snapping. It's got a built-in torque wrench. No, it doesn't. Okay, take our cap off there and put on our electrical connector. Okay, all right. Now we'll vacuum her down and make sure it holds a vacuum first. Alright, we are vacuuming. It was pretty good right off the bat, so I'm sure that'll come down lower as we vacuum. I'm gonna vacuum for a good long while, as I always do. Wasn't open long, but it was open, so yeah, we'll let this go for a while and then we'll make sure she holds at a static point. Then we'll charge her back up if she holds. Alright, we're holding at about 25 inches of mercury. I'd like to have it up around 28 or 30, but some of these systems are harder to vacuum down. We've been going for a long while and it just won't go over 25. Under 25? I guess vacuum is technically positive, not negative, when it's measured in inches of mercury, so anyway, she's holding there. We'll let her sit a little bit longer, make sure she's holding, and then we'll put a charge back in. I believe this one is 0.99 pounds or 0.45 kilograms. Alright, pressures are looking good for the ambient temperature. They're moving around a little bit. Inside temperature, I don't know if you can see that, 50 degrees. Let's quick leak test this just to make sure. Yep, we're good. She's holding around 30 and 190-ish. I don't want to overcharge it, but it's not a tremendously hot day, kind of cloudy and overcast, so that's probably pretty good for that. So yeah, the compressor fired right up. I put a base charge in it, just, you know, using the vacuum to suck in the charge, and the compressor fired up and I sucked in the rest of the charge with that. So complete vapor charge, that's the way I normally do it. Doing a liquid charge is just too dangerous, so I think we're good. Yeah, we're down below 50 now. We're at like 47, 48 degrees coming out of the vents. So yeah, we're getting a little bit of fluctuation here, but that's normal with I believe this has an expansion valve in it. That's normal, as the expansion valve kind of adjusts based off of core temperature and needs. So that was the problem, the switch. So I guess my gamble was correct and paid off in that regard, so that's good. Like I said before, it was an educated guess, but at the end of the day I wasn't 100% certain, so it was still a guess, but that was the problem. So we fixed the Nissan Versa, pretty easy. Like I said, it was an educated guess, but gamble did pay off. We got it fixed. So we do a lot of weird stuff like this on the channel, troubleshooting, diagnosis, etc. If you like it, subscribe, comment, leave a comment down below. I do read all the comments, all 2 of you who comment. So as always, thanks for watching.